Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer. Turner Sports is not going to know what game Reggie's going to have until later today. So we'll just have to sit here and wait with Reggie to find out where he's going to be coming up here. How was the weekend?
Happy belated Mother's Day
Yeah.
to you and yours and all my Danettes and everyone, our viewers watching or listening abroad and at home.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. Well, because you got the newborn there, so
Made it even extra. It made it just that bit extra special to celebrate Mother's Day. I'm very lucky.
All right, I got a couple of questions here. Let me start with Steph, something that you are well versed in. These shots' degree of difficulty here, Reg. Like, it's hard to say that I'm surprised or amazed when I tune in to see Steph. I would have thought I've seen everything. How do you describe this run that he's had here in the last month or so?
I'm surprised and amazed. That's what I'm going to say. And this is coming from a guy who I felt that I've seen everything.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. The degree of difficulty and time and score when he's making some of these shots, it's sometimes head scratching. And, for a guy who put a lot of time and effort into my craft, hours and hours in the gyms, shooting different shots from different locations, being off balance, having contact, shooting shots. I know how difficult it can be. He has made it look like it's like he's shooting a free throw. And that's what makes people like myself somewhat amazed, because I know how difficult it is. So I am amazed. And people ask me about MVPs. He won't win the MVP, but in my opinion, he should be in the top. He should be in the top three for what he has done and what Golden State has done. No one really has, especially when Clay went down. Everyone thought this was a straight line to the lottery once again. Give Steve Kerr and Steph credit, and I give Draymond Green and especially Steph Curry a lot of credit for hanging in there, playing with a young team. You lose your second-round draft pick, James Wiseman, a month and a half ago, and you have still found a way to be competitive, and you're in the playoff hunt. It's amazing what he is doing.
And if you get in that play-in game with the Lakers, like that's really flirting with danger if you're the Lakers.
It is. Especially against a player like Steph.
Yes.
Who can get hot, and it doesn't matter if he's at home or on the road. His ability to make shots.
Okay, but the Lakers take down the Suns. I don't know how important that game is. I don't know how big it was to you, but just, we keep thinking that the Lakers and Nets just go into the playoffs and then everything's going to be fine. You've had, I'm guessing, an injured ankle before. Like those it doesn't feel like they go away. And all it takes is you roll the ankle again, or Anthony Davis gets injured again, and then you're out for 3 or 4 games. That's how you get knocked off here.
You want rhythm and chemistry at this time of year, especially going into the playoffs. And let's face it, injuries are a part of the game. We get it. And I look at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got right. They got healthy at the right time towards the end of the season when everyone was getting banged up. Tom Brady and his gang of Warriors got right, got healthy, and started to click and play at the right time and onto the Super Bowl, and they win it. And it's not a light switch. Basketball is not a light switch you can turn on and turn off. You have great talent. Don't get me wrong. That's Lakers, when whole, when healthy, in my opinion, they're the 2 favorites. But you've got to have some type of rhythm, and you've got to have some type of chemistry going into the playoffs. I think it was a huge win for the Lakers for their psyche.
Yeah.
Because everyone's talking about playing, and I still think once LeBron comes back, they will be better, but it's not a light switch. And like you said, you are messing with danger because of the way Steph, if they end up playing Golden State in that playing game. Remember, that one loss, that can prove a lot of things, and Steph can get hot and put up 50 on you in a heartbeat. So you've got to be careful, and you've got to try to find a way to get that rhythm and chemistry going.
We were talking about Russell Westbrook, that he's on the verge of breaking Oscar's record for triple-doubles in a career. I was wondering how Magic Johnson would be in today's NBA.
Oh my God.
But he'd be shooting more threes, though, right, Reg? He'd be shooting that set shot three.
He probably would be, but think about that. At 6'9", a 6'9" point guard. When there's no hand checking and freedom of movement. Yeah. That's the two things taken from the 80s and 90s basketball versus the 2000s. Freedom of movement, being able to, not hand check, and you could float anywhere you want. Magic Johnson playing downhill every time there's a missed shot. I think he would have been brilliant.
Yeah, because he had a couple of years. I think he mostly averaged like 24 one year when Kareem was gone. But he was like a 19 points, 11 assists guy. And that's where we get caught up in stats and people say, Russell Westbrook is maybe the second or third greatest point guard of all time. I want to know what my point guard does when I need him to do, what it is a point guard's supposed to do. John Stockton, what did he average? 15, 14?
15 or 16.
Yeah, but what did he do when he needed to do it? That's what Russell hasn't given us. Westbrook is a, statistical anomaly. It's just when he's been on a big stage, he hasn't performed. That's where I always say that's the difference in being a great point guard and one of the all-time great point guards. Russ is fascinating to watch, but can you do this on a big stage? And maybe the pressure's off because Washington is not a great team or high expectations, but him and Bradley Beal in a short series, they could probably, steal a series from somebody.
Hard out with those two guys, because both guys, they can win you ball games, and it's always going to be a dogfight and a struggle. And people always want to knock Russell because of the triple doubles, and it's almost, what have you done for me lately? We know that you're putting up these numbers, but you're in the 9th or 10th spot in the East. But I say that to these people. I would much rather want to have a guy who's ready to run through a brick wall like Russell Westbrook, who gives you effort on every single play. Does he have flaws? Absolutely. But playing hard is the number one thing that you don't see a lot of great players do. A lot of great players have talent, but they don't play hard all the time.
And it's true,
Russ
though. He does.
Russ plays too hard. Sometimes he plays too hard, right?
I know.
He plays too hard.
I know.
Slow down.
I know.
I would much rather have Russell Westbrook than a lot of these other guys that take plays off.
He's Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, Turner Sports NBA analyst. The Pelicans, David Griffin got fined $50,000 talking about how Zion is officiated. And I gave a couple of stats here on him that nobody has had their shot blocked more than Zion. 131 times he's had his shot blocked this year. But nobody scores more in the paint. Like he's 300 points, I think, more than the Joker and the Greek Freak. So he gets in like he's a smaller version of Shaq. I don't think they know how to officiate him here, Reg. But Zion, to his credit, did say, I hope I get to the point where I get those calls. He didn't criticize the official. Now he's got a broken finger here. How do you officiate him? And is it similar to the way Shaq was officiated?
Somewhat similar. I think with Shaq was so much bigger than everyone else and so much more powerful. It almost wasn't fair. And I think what David Griffin and the Pelicans, and to Zion's credit, what they're doing is just planting a seed for years to come. Because until he develops that outside jump shot, and you and I, we've talked about this on this show many of times, if they can't solve what he's doing in the paint, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think all he wants to do is plant seeds in the official until he gets a jump shot, because that's the only way really he's scoring is in the paint, and that's driving. And the reason why he gets his shot blocked the most is because that's where his bread and butter is. That's where his candy land is in the paint. So of course he's going to get his shot blocked more because he's not taking jump shots. He's shooting in the paint.
And I wonder, what would you tell him to work on?
I would have him, number one, a face-up from 15 to 18 feet, a catch, and a couple jab steps to freeze the defense and to knock down that shot, or a one dribble left or a one dribble right pull-up jump shot. because then you're going to have the defense guessing. Because after that, we've seen his first step. His first step is unbelievable. We've seen his spin move after his first step. He likes to go left, spin, and then bring up, the arms up. That's probably where he got a broken finger, because he exposes the ball. What I would do, one dribble, pull up left, one dribble, pull up right. Now you keep the defense guessing. Now you can work on your spin move, and you have the defense at your mercy.
We also talked about Luka Doncic, that he got tossed, in the game against Cleveland for the flagrant. But the technicals are a really big concern for me, because star players can't be baited. They shouldn't be baited. And here's Luka with 15 technicals. Dwight Howard's the only player with more. He's got 16. So what advice would you give Luka Doncic on trying to avoid getting involved in these and complaining?
Well, here's the thing, because I was a complainer, and
That's why I'm asking you.
A small complainer. You never want to put your team in jeopardy, because they didn't have, when you got a certain amount of technicals when I played, you got suspended a game. That would hurt the Mavericks. That would hurt your team. So you can't put yourself in that position. Look, having played for Rick Carlisle, Rick Carlisle goes to bat for his players. And I would go to, if I'm Carlisle, I would go to Luka and say, look, let me handle the officials. Let me get tossed. Let me get on them. Because what he's doing now, over time, could eventually hurt his team, because every play, it seems like when he doesn't get the call, number one, he's in the backcourt having conversations with the official while the play is going on, and he's doing his team a disservice by not getting back into plays.
Because you have players who are irritants. That's their Patrick.
That's their job.
Yes. But Luka can't let Rasheed Wallace. You played against Rasheed. It felt like anything bothered Rasheed. Draymond Green is baitable, it feels like. And great players, you have to use it as motivation. And it doesn't feel like Luka does that.
And the type of game he has, think about this. Luka has the basketball for the Mavs, I would say 85, 90% of the time. Your game can do your speaking for you. If you think a player is baiting you or trash talking you or whatever, you got the ball in your hands. You're calling all the plays. Take it out on them and their team. You can't get caught up in words. Take it out with your play. Embarrass them. That's how you get your payback.
What was it? Last Friday was the anniversary of your game against the Knicks?
8 points in 9 seconds. Yes, it was. Like it was yesterday.
Did the Hall of Fame ask for anything from that game?
I believe they asked for either a jersey or my shoes, which they have. I gave it to them. Yes.
Where are the socks?
I don't know.
In a laundry bin? See, I would like the socks. That would be great. How many items does the Hall of Fame have of yours?
Shoes, a full jersey. They probably have a game basketball, wristband, and that's it.
But those are all based off of what? So the one game at the Knicks.
Certain games performances, like that game, the Jordan hitting the shot over Jordan. I'm sure they asked for something. Look, it's an honor when they call and say, hey, we're thinking about displaying this at the Hall of Fame. So of course the Pacers sent it off, which was cool. I think those two games are the two things where they've asked for stuff.
But you see Greg Anthony, right?
All the time.
Yes, you see Greg Anthony, and Greg is the guy who was trying to guard you, and you kind of nudged him, and he fell to the floor.
I'm glad you said it. The correct word was nudge.
Yeah, you nudged.
Incidental contact.
But can you bring this up, or would Greg Anthony ever bring this up to you that you'd?
It's funny. I've called a couple games with Greg, and we'll see something during the course of a game, and he'll bring it up like it's 1995. Like I shoved him out of a moving car or something. I'm like, Greg, you were on your way down anyways, my friend. So my incidental contact shouldn't have really even mattered a little bit. But I just like, when I went like that right away, I thought I was going to get the call. But when I didn't hear a whistle, and Anthony Mason, I'm telling you, God rest his soul, He threw me the best pass Mark Jackson never could have thrown me. I mean, it hit me right here in my pocket, right in my shooting pocket, right into my, one dribble behind the three, it was launched.
Anthony Mason was scary.
That Knicks team was scary. I mean, people want to talk about the bad boys, and rightfully so. Some of those characters on the Bad Boys were a little loose. Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Greg Anthony, John Starks. A lot of these guys had screws loose too. Thank God I had my Davis boys who weren't all there. LaSalle Thompson wasn't all there. Sam Mitchell, not all there. So we could kind of like go toe to toe with the Knicks. But Anthony Mason was a scary dude, man.
Who was the guy that you worried about after a game that you played against?
Two, and I love them to death. Vernon Maxwell, who's one of my good friends.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, because you didn't know if he was going to come into the locker room and ask for an autograph, or if y'all were going to be scrapping in the middle of the visiting team's locker room. And Alvin Robinson.
Ooh.
Alvin, I knew after my rookie year when John Long came to me and said, never, and I mean absolutely never, Reg, say a word to Alvin Robinson. Just let him play his game. If he fouls you hard, just say, good. Don't even look at him because his eyes are steely black. Don't even talk to him. So you didn't know what you were going to get between Alvin and Mad Max.
Well,
love them both. Love them both now.
Mark Jackson tells that story about Alvin Robertson. They're playing dice. And he said they know he's cheating, and everybody's afraid to call him on it because they were worried that Alvin was just not a guy you messed with. I love that. They had to continue to lose money because they couldn't call Alvin on cheating. He had loaded dice.
Crazy. Just crazy.
Oh, God. And you survived.
I survived. I'm here speaking with you and my Danettes.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you don't find out your assignment until later today?
I think it's either Portland at Miami or it's Portland and the Phoenix Suns.
But you're not traveling yet.
I'll be on.
You're not traveling. Not traveling yet, right?
Not traveling yet. Remotely.
Oh, well, then it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's still remotely, people.
I just saw where Duncan Robinson is in line for $20 million a year contract.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Imagine if you're 20 years younger, Reg.
I will never fault guys for making money. That's what this game is all about. The guys before me, they paved the way so I could make a living. And that's what we did now for the Duncan Robinsons of the year. 20 million.
Yeah, pretty good.
For a shooter. Go get it.
Thank you, Reg.
Thank you, Theodore. I love you. Damn it.
Talk to you soon. That's the Hall of Famer, Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III. We'll take a break. Back after this.